So you've heard about Arcane, the League of Legends TV show series that's coming out on Netflix quite soon, and you want to know more about it. Well, this is a really good spot to learn all about Arcane, what it is, the lore behind it, and what you should know going into the show to give you a little bit of background to understand what's actually going to be happening when that first episode actually drops. So let's jump right into the video. Now, to start it off, Arcane, for those who don't know, is a series that is being made by Riot Games, the parent company of a bunch of different games, obviously as inferred by their name, but mainly they are the parent company of League of Legends. And League of Legends has an extensive lore backstory behind it. There are tons of different champions, but one critical thing to note is that they all reside in the world of Runterra. Now, that is the area where the League of Legends lore is actually located. It is the island of Runterra, which is technically not an island. It's really just the world that they live in. But overall, as you guys can see on the interactive map, this is what all of Runterra looks like. And in this video, I'll be giving you guys a breakdown of where this Arcane show is actually going to be taking place, who are going to be the main characters, and what you should be looking out for as you're actually watching the series. So to start it off, let's actually go ahead and take a quick peek at this interactive map. Now, Riot has an amazing map, as you guys can see here, that has literally every region in Runterra very easily accessible. Now, the two cities that we are going to be talking about for this show in specific are Piltover and Zaun. Now, I'm just going to be giving you guys a brief overview of these cities, what you need to know for the show going into it. I'm not going to do too in-depth lore breakdown. If you guys actually want to learn even more about the League of Legends universe, I highly recommend checking out Necrit's channel. His channel is entirely dedicated to League of Legends lore, so if you really want to get read up on this stuff, then go ahead and check out some of his most recent videos, because those things are amazing. But if you just want a quick overview of actually what's going to be going on in Arcane so that you know what's actually going on when the show starts, this is the place for you. Now, Piltover and Zaun is a place on Runterra, obviously, and it is a dual city state. Now, what that means is that Piltover is the overworld and Zaun is the underworld. Basically, Piltover is the more advanced, technologically capable area with the more rich, higher class society members. Now, Zaun is basically both figuratively and literally below Piltover. Zaun is a much lower class, higher crime rate, more poor people filled society, and it's basically the underworld of Piltover, while also being literally under Piltover. The geography of these two places has Piltover above Zaun, just to even further the point that Piltover is above the Zaunites, and it shows that they are obviously, this is a bit of an English analysis here, but they are higher class and they are almost better in their eyes than the Zaunites. This will be a major part in the Arcane series, so make sure to note that, is that the Piltover people still think that they are way better than the Zaunites, but that's just a little bit of an extra fact here. If we actually go ahead and click on Piltover and Zaun, we get a little bit of a zoom in here, and we are able to see much more. Now, these two cities are initially connected, but if we actually separate them down into the two different layers, we can look at them each on their own. Now, Piltover is the city on top, like I was just saying, and this is home to a lot of tinkerers, a lot of architects. These are the people that are trying to further society by building things out of something called hex tech magic. Now, it's basically using science to utilize magic. It sounds really weird, but there are these things called hex tech crystals, and these things are basically just magic, to put it in very simple terms. And people like Heimerdinger, who is one of the leading scientists in Piltover, are trying to harness these things to actually use them by using science. Now, another example is Jace. He is trying to crack the code on these hex tech crystals, and he is going to be playing a major part in the Arcane series, I believe later on in the episode. So make sure to keep an eye out for him. And overall, Piltover is, like I said, the much more rich area. This is the place where you've got a lot of formalized experiments going on. You're not going to have any illegal human test subjects here. These are all going to be some high-quality, high scientific standard experiments where they're trying to figure out the best way to actually progress society with this newfound form of magic that they can harness through science. Like I mentioned, the two critical characters that you're going to want to know is Heimerdinger. He is a Yordle, and in the current League of Legends lore, we're not sure if this is going to hold true in the Arcane series, but in the current League of Legends lore, Heimerdinger is actually a Yordle, and humans on the continent of Runterra, and literally all other races are extremely scared of Yordles. Literally everyone hates Yordles. So they have a special magic that will actually disguise them from being seen as Yordles. Yordles are basically these magical beings in the Runterra universe, to put it very simply, and everyone else is scared of them. They don't know who they are, they don't know what they do, and so therefore, they're just scared of them. Even though they're these harmless little guys, technically not harmless, they are quite dangerous. If you've ever met a Teemo, that guy's gonna mess you up with some massive pranks. But that's just a little bit of a lore joke right there. Let's actually get back to the topic at hand. Now, Heimerdinger is most likely going to be cloaked in some sort of like cloaking device so that the people of Piltover cannot actually know that he's a Yordle, and obviously this makes them not as scared of him. But that's just a little bit of a collector's piece of information to keep there for you, just so that you can talk about that if you're ever talking about Arcane with your friends, or really anyone else who's watching the show. Now, the other notable member from Piltover is Jace. Jace is going to be one of the people that is experimenting on the Hextech crystals, and he is going to be trying to harness their magic and actually use it in a scientific way. He will be broken down in later episodes of the series, I believe, and we are actually going to start off in the lower bodies of Zaun. This is most likely how the show is going to play out. Again, though, I have not seen the show yet because it literally has not released yet. This is just a guide to what we most likely are going to be seeing. It is 100% going to be focused around Piltover and Zaun, though, and these characters are 100% going to be in it. It's just not known 100% as to whether they will be in the first few episodes, or if people like Jace will not be coming in into the later episodes in the series. But let's actually move on down to Zaun, and this is where we start to see our protagonists developing. Now, Jinx and Vi are going to be your two major characters in this series, and both of them are orphans from a very young age. They are both found, and they are basically put together in Zaun, and they grow up together as sisters. Now, whether they are biological sisters, this is still unknown, and it may be revealed to us in the series that they are, or it may be revealed that they are not. A lot of people have very strong opinions about this in the League of Legends community, though, so I would not bring this up if you're having to talk about Arcane, okay? Just a little bit of a heads up for you guys there. But Zaun is going to be the hometown of both Jinx and Vi, and these two are going to grow up in a very similar environment. But what's going to happen is that there is going to be the introduction of our antagonist that is eventually going to split these two up. Now, the way that this is going to happen is Jinx is actually going to get injected by a serum by one of these antagonist figures, and we believe this serum is going to be some sort of drug. Now, this drug is basically eventually going to make Jinx go completely insane and start bombing Piltover. Jinx's whole character in the League of Legends universe is that she is this crazy pyromaniac type person that just loves blowing things up. Now, what the Arcane series is actually explaining to us is the origin story of Jinx. Now, along with that, of course, we will also have to get the origin story of Vi, and we are also going to be seeing some characters from the Zaun underworld, such as Echo, who is an amazing inventor and personally one of my favorite characters from the League of Legends lore, and of course, we'll also be seeing a few other side characters that will be developed throughout the show. But overall, the most notable things to know when going into the Arcane show to make sure that you know is that this is going to be happening on the content of Runterra in the area of Piltover and Zaun. Now, Jinx and Vi are going to be two sisters that grow up in Zaun, and they are eventually going to get separated and go entirely separate ways, with Vi going towards the police academy and eventually becoming one of the chief police officers in Piltover, whereas Jinx is going to be one of the chief criminals in Piltover and is going to be someone that is causing insane amounts of damage to the city, and eventually they are going to be complete rivals. But we're going to be getting their origin story and how this all started off, and it's honestly going to be really amazing. I'm really hyped for Arcane, and I hope after watching this you guys are as well. I don't know where you guys came from. I don't know if you guys are just new to the League of Legends scene, whether it's through the Fortnite crossover or if it's through something else, and you've just recently picked up League of Legends and you want to know a little bit about this Arcane series, then hey, I'm glad to be able to have helped you guys out here and help you guys understand all of this stuff in the Piltovian region and the Zaunian region, and everything to know about Arcane before you actually watch the series. Again, this is just a brief overview so that you guys know the main characters and the general gist of what's going on here, but if you want to get more in-depth knowledge on this, again, I would recommend going over to Necrit's channel because he has a much better understanding understanding and grasp on this stuff than I ever could, if we're just going to be totally honest here. So make sure to go check out his channel after this if you really want to know even more lore. But for now, that is all I'm going to be giving you guys, and I believe that that will be sufficient enough to actually cover the first few episodes of Arcane, and from there, I feel like you guys will pick up enough from those episodes to actually understand what's going on. But this is a basic overview to Arcane, everything that you guys need to know about it. If you did actually find this video helpful, then please consider leaving a like on it and subscribing to the channel, as that would help me out a ton. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you guys in the next one.